Today about how the Biden administration is going to scrutinize big tech. Those questions coming at the confirmation hearing for Attorney General nominee Merrick Garland. Hillary Vaughn in Washington with the details. What you got, Hillary?
Hey, Larry. Well, Merrick Garland today stopped just short of promising not to dismiss the antitrust case that the DOJ has opened into Google, but he did say he doesn't see a reason why that decision to open the case in the first place from the prior administration would need to be reversed. He also said he's open to the idea that they need to beef up resources at the DOJ's antitrust division to investigate and enforce antitrust laws seriously and vigorously. He also told senators today that when it comes to Section 230, that law that essentially shields tech companies from liability, he's open to refreshing it to make it more applicable to the modern day internet, saying he's open to lawmakers' suggestions on that. But he did specifically address two accusations that are in the news today and concerns that lawmakers had about his close ties or potentially close ties to big tech. He addressed the report that the five big tech firms, Alphabet, Apple, Facebook, Google, and Amazon combined donated $15 million to Biden's campaign. Together, they were the largest source of revenue for the campaign, more than any other industry. Garland told lawmakers today he will not be pressured dollars to Biden's campaign. Together, they were the largest source of revenue for the campaign, more than any other industry. Garland told lawmakers today he will not be pressured by any donor, whether it's a donor from Google or somewhere else. He says he doesn't own any Google stock. He's in the process of divesting all of his stocks to prepare for this role and says he will not be influenced by anyone. He also addressed reports that Susan Davies, this is someone he worked with at the DOJ before under Clinton, that he wanted her to lead the antitrust division. The reason why that was considered scandalous is because Davies was a lawyer for Facebook. She represented the company in an antitrust case. There was a concern that there would be obvious conflict of interest if she were brought on. But today he said reports that she's being considered for that top spot are incorrect, which was completely new. Reports have been out there for months that she was one of the top contenders for the role, and that essentially those reports are not true. It's interesting that he didn't come out earlier when these reports had been circulating and say that that was not something that he wanted himself. Larry?
You know, Hillary, thanks for the great work. Add Microsoft to the list, and I wonder whether the Wall Street Journal article this morning, which played everywhere, very big, knocked her out. Because you're right, This was brand new information, and it's odd just coming in his confirmation hearing.
Yeah, no, it is. And he said he really didn't know where those reports came from, but he did say that she was not taken off the list by anyone. So, I mean, he is under oath, and this is the news that he delivered firsthand to Senator Hawley, who was asking these questions. But there are larger concerns, Larry, about how the Biden administration will handle antitrust cases against big tech companies, because Democrats and Republicans in the Senate today really want companies held accountable and the DOJ to be the one to enforce these laws. Larry?
Got it. Thanks very much, Hillary Vaughn.
I promise we will dip back into that in a moment, but we've got other breaking news out of Washington, D.C. The U.S. Supreme Court declining to block a New York grand jury from getting President Trump's personal and corporate tax returns. Pete Williams has the latest. Pete, explain this. Former President Trump's team has been trying to prevent this grand jury from seeing his taxes, and the Supreme Court said, sorry, Charlie, not going to happen?
Exactly right. You may remember earlier this year, the court said the president wasn't immune from the grand jury's investigative powers. So he went back to court a second.
No devices found. Okay. That's a question. Well,
time arguing, okay, well, in this case, I'm saying the subpoena is overbroad, and today the Supreme Court said it would not hear his appeal of two lower court decisions that rejected that. So, two things about this. Number one, obviously, bad news for the president, who has fought tooth and nail to try to keep these tax returns away from the prosecutors led by Cy Vance, the Manhattan District Attorney. The second thing is it doesn't mean that the tax returns are going to become public anytime soon. They may never become public unless Vance uses them as evidence and brings charges. So it's bad news for the president. His accountants now must turn over 8 years of tax documents to this grand jury that's investigating the hush money payments and other aspects of the Trump organization's finances. In response to the Supreme Court's order today, by the way,